May the words of my mouth and meditation of all of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. So today we have the end of this long series of questions that people have been asking Jesus. And they weren't just questions like you want information. They were testing like we're trying to trip you up so that you will show that you're not really all that special like you think you are, or these people think you are, and instead you're just a false teacher. And so we didn't even read all of them, but there were the chief priests, and there were the Pharisees, and there were the scribes. I think the Sadducees were in there somewhere. And in all of these things, Jesus was able to give an answer. He was able to pass the test, if you will. He didn't trip up. But then he turns around and asks them the question to see if they'll trip up. And they're unable to answer the question he poses, so he won. And it says, after that, they didn't ask him any more questions. They had looked foolish. And that's the opposite of what power usually wants to do. Power does not like to look foolish. It likes to look important, and it likes to look well-kept, and it likes to know everything. And when you're put down, especially when you're having an argument about power with somebody else that you're saying is an upstart and a no-good Nick and you should get rid of this person, they didn't like that. They didn't like it one little bit. And so after that time, they didn't ask him any more questions. And we have to remember that this is the very last week of Jesus' earthly life, the story we're reading now. So very soon in the story, he will be arrested. Very soon in the story, he will be tried and tortured and executed. And they will, on earth, get the last word. On earth, they get the last word, these people who are in power. They get the last word, these people who are testing him. They will win. If they were the most important and most powerful thing, then they would have won in total. But we know that the story goes on, and there's another victory to come, and it's not about earthly power. And I think we lose track of that sometimes. We forget that there is a power beyond us. And especially as we're in this season of political ads for the President of the United States, and some will say this is the most powerful person on earth. Some will say this is the most powerful man on earth. But you have to pay a lot of attention to the on earth piece, and also you might want to talk to people in other countries who may disagree. But whether this person who wins the presidency will be the most important person on earth or not, while it's subject to a great deal of debate, will nonetheless not be the most powerful in the universe, no matter what. There is always God. There is always a truth that is above all the things that you see in the ads. And the ads are just, well, they're ubiquitous now, aren't they? I was online doing something that had nothing to do with news or anything else, and I kept seeing ads for this candidate and for that candidate all the time. And each one was made to make you feel something. They're not just informational. They're not just, well, this candidate says A and this candidate says B, and therefore you should make your decision based on whether you prefer A or B. Wouldn't that be nice? No, this candidate is going to save you, and this candidate will destroy you, and it doesn't matter which one you're looking at. The ads say the same thing. They're designed to make you upset. They're designed to bring you into a conflict. But if we're not careful, we will take that step which is different from the one Jesus said. We will take the step away from that truth, and we will go instead into, yes, this is the most important thing, and yes, this is life and death, and yes, the people who don't agree with me are my enemies, and yes, I need to hate them, and yes, I need to make sure that my side wins, or we are all doomed. Because that's the ad, isn't it? That's the message. The people who are telling us that they can save us are telling us that we are doomed. Don't believe them. Don't buy into it. You are saved by God. And you need to make your best decision based on your faith, your hope, your love of one another. It's never based on hatred. If you're voting on hatred, you have made a misstep. If you're making your decisions based on hatred, you have left the path. Come back. Come back to the truth of love. Come back to the truth of the gospel, which says that the most important thing you can do is love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. Make sure that you're voting from love. Make sure that you're making your decisions from love. Make sure that everything that you do in your life is based not on fear, and not on hatred, and not on the idea that we need more power, or that we need to fight somebody else who wants power, but instead on that basic truth of love. That was Jesus' answer, wasn't it? What is the most important commandment? What is the most important thing in front of us? What is the most important thing you can do with your life? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. On this hang all the law and the prophets. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the glooms. Be wise as serpents and as innocent as doves, and love your neighbor as yourself. May God lead us in this path so that we may know on this earth, while we are here, the blessing of God's love for us, and know that for eternity we will share God's love in person. God be with you.